A 91-year-old attorney named Anthony Joseph Brasco receives a parking meter ticket for being just 1 minute late. Determined to handle it himself, he walks into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, ready to defend his case with 6 decades of legal wisdom behind him. What follows is one of the most engaging and respectful courtroom exchanges, a meeting of minds between two men who have each devoted their lives to justice. This is Anthony Brasco's story, a reminder of what happens when timeless legal knowledge meets Judge Caprio's deep respect for those who have dedicated their lives to serving the law. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because this story, about honoring experience and valuing wisdom, resonates wherever people believe that age and service deserve recognition. Scene 2, inside Providence Municipal Court. It's Thursday morning, 11:15 a.m., at the Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio reviews his docket and pauses at an unusual case. A defendant, 91 years old, is representing himself, still an active attorney. The case file reads, citation, parking meter violation expired by 1 minute. Defendant, Anthony Joseph Brasco, age 91. Officer's note. Defendant was polite, showed meter receipt confirming payment, and explained he moved slowly due to age. Moments later, Anthony Brasco enters the courtroom with the quiet confidence of a man who has spent 65 years practicing law. Despite his age, he's impeccably dressed, wearing a well-fitted suit and carrying a worn leather briefcase that has clearly seen countless hearings. His steady gaze and thoughtful expression reveal the sharp intellect of someone whose mind remains as sharp as ever, even as time has slowed his steps. Judge Caprio begins the hearing with a tone of genuine respect, acknowledging a fellow legal professional. Mr. Bras, I see from your paperwork that you're an attorney. Are you representing yourself today? Anthony steps forward with a modest smile. Your Honor, at my age I can hardly afford my own services, but yes, I'm here pro se today. The courtroom breaks into light laughter, clearly drawn to the 91-year-old lawyer's gentle humor. Mr. Brasco, Judge Caprio continues, how long have you been practicing law? Since 1958, Your Honor. 65 years of trying to keep clients out of trouble and occasionally finding myself in it. Anthony replies with a grin. Judge Caprio smiles warmly, then reviews the minor parking citation. So, you're still practicing part-time these days? Yes, Your Honor, Anthony answers. Mostly estate planning and wills. At my age, I probably understand mortality better than most attorneys. His calm wit and lifelong experience immediately mark him as someone truly remarkable. Judge Caprio. Mr. Brasco. Tell me about this parking meter issue. Anthony opens his briefcase with practiced precision. Anthony. Your Honor, I have here my parking receipt showing I paid for 1 hour at 2 p.m., along with the citation indicating I was ticketed at 3:01 p.m., exactly 1 minute after the meter expired. Judge Caprio. 1 minute? Anthony. Yes, Your Honor. I was in this very courthouse filing documents for a client's estate. The elevator was slow, and so am I. Judge Caprio leans back, clearly amused by this unique situation. Judge Caprio. You mentioned the delay was caused by circumstances beyond your control. Can you explain that? Anthony. Well, Your Honor, I'd say being 91 years old is entirely beyond my control. I never planned to live this long. My wife says I'm just too stubborn to die. The courtroom bursts into gentle laughter at his humor. Anthony, continuing. But to be transparent, I did stop to chat with Attorney Morrison in the hallway. We're old friends. We faced each other in a trial back in 1973, so yes, I share some blame for the delay. Judge Caprio smiles, clearly appreciating Anthony's honesty. Judge Caprio. You're being unusually forthright for someone defending himself. Anthony. Your Honor, at 91 I've learned honesty takes less effort than making up stories. Besides, my memory isn't what it used to be. I might forget which story I told. The courtroom chuckles again, charmed by his sharp wit and self-awareness. Judge Caprio. Mr. Brasco, may I ask, why are you still practicing law at 91? Anthony's tone turns thoughtful but warm. Anthony. Your Honor, I love the law. For 65 years I've helped people manage their estates and put their affairs in order. It keeps my mind sharp and gives me purpose. I make sure my clients and their families are protected. Why would I stop just because I'm old? My mind still functions even if my knees protest a bit. Besides, he says with a light in his eyes, retirement sounds dull. I'd rather debate parking meters in front of judges than spend my days watching television. Judge Caprio nods with appreciation. Mr. Brasco, you mentioned you move a little slower now. Tell me what happened when you went to your car that day. Your Honor, Anthony begins. I had filed estate documents on the 3rd floor. I took the elevator down. It was full of younger folks who kindly let the old man go first. Then I walked to my car. What once took me a minute now takes about 5, and the entire time I was aware of that parking meter, I assure you. I tried to hurry, but at my age, hurry is what younger people might call a glacial pace. When I reached my car, I saw the officer writing the ticket and thought, well, there goes my lunch money. His dry humor draws laughter from the courtroom. Judge Caprio rises, a gesture of respect for Anthony's age and long career. Mr. Brasco, I've seen many attorneys in my years on this bench, but few have impressed me as much as you have today. Anthony nods modestly. You're very kind, Your Honor. You paid for your parking. You were delayed only a minute, and that delay was due to age-related mobility issues. More importantly, you were here in this courthouse serving a client when the ticket was issued. Is that correct? That's right, Your Honor. Then your citation is dismissed entirely, Judge Caprio declares. Anthony smiles in genuine relief. Thank you, Your Honor. That's very generous of you. Judge Caprio continues. But before you go, I want to recognize something. You're 91 years old. You've been practicing law for 65 years, and you're still representing clients with the same dedication and sharpness as ever. I do my best, Your Honor. Anthony replies warmly. Though I admit estate planning is easier than trial work, fewer surprises when your clients are already planning for the inevitable. Judge Caprio chuckles. Mr. Brasco, your humor is as sharp as your legal mind. May I ask what keeps you going at 91? Anoni's response reflects both wisdom and intention. Your Honor, he begins, I believe the secret to a long life is having a reason to get up each morning. For me, that reason is helping others. Each will I draft, and every estate I plan gives families peace and prevents conflict after loss. That's what gives my work purpose. Judge Caprio smiles. Your wife must be quite patient with your busy schedule. He replies warmly. God bless her, my wife is 87 and still volunteers at the hospital 3 days a week. We're both too occupied to retire properly. We often joke that we'll rest when we're gone, but not a moment sooner. The courtroom responds with applause, moved by this portrait of a couple who remain active and purposeful despite their age. Judge Caprio looks at him and says, Mr. Brasco, I want to do something for you. Judge Caprio speaks clearly. This court is granting you a special parking exemption for all municipal lots and meters. You'll never need to worry about parking citations again. Anthony looks genuinely touched. Your Honor, that's extremely generous, but unnecessary. I can afford my parking. I know you can, Mr. Brasco. Judge Caprio replies with a small smile. But for someone who has dedicated his life to service, before the judge can finish, Anthony respectfully interjects. Your Honor, may I say something not directly related to my case? Of course, Mr. Brasco. Anthony straightens slightly. I've been coming to this courthouse for over 60 years. I've appeared before many judges, some remarkable, others simply adequate. But you, sir, represent the highest standard of judicial service. Fair, compassionate, and wise. Judge Caprio seems genuinely moved. That's very kind of you, Mr. Brasco. It's not kindness. Your Honor, it's truth, Anthony continues. The way you treat everyone who stands before you, with dignity and respect regardless of their circumstances, reflects exactly what justice should mean. I only wish more judges shared your approach. Judge Caprio nods appreciatively. Coming from an attorney with your experience, that means a great deal to me. Your Honor, Anthony adds, you handled this small parking matter with the same care you'd give a major case. That's integrity, and at my age I've learned that character is what matters most. Judge Caprio steps down from the bench to shake Anthony's hand. Mr. Brasco, you've made my day. It's not often I meet someone who's been practicing law longer than I've been alive. Anthony chuckles. Your Honor, you're making me feel ancient, which, to be fair, is accurate, but you could have said it more gently. The courtroom laughs at his quick humor. Before he leaves, Judge Caprio asks, Mr. Brasco, before you go, Any advice for younger attorneys? Anthony pauses, thinking carefully. Your Honor, I would tell young attorneys 3 things. First, remember that law is a profession built on service, not a business of profit. Focus on helping people, not just billing them. Second, show respect to everyone, judges, opposing counsel, court staff, and clients alike. Courtesy costs nothing, yet it always brings lasting rewards. Third, never stop learning. I'm 91, and I still discover something new with every case I handle. Beautiful words, Mr. Brasco. Your Honor, I've also learned that the secret to longevity is staying engaged. Keep working. Keep helping, keep finding purpose. The moment you stop contributing, life begins to lose its meaning. Judge Caprio nods thoughtfully. Mr. Brasco, you're living proof of that belief, Your Honor. I'm living proof that stubbornness and good genes can carry you to 91. Judge Caprio turns to the courtroom, clearly moved by Anthony's wisdom and presence. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've witnessed today is something truly special. Mr. Brasco represents a quality we don't often see. A person who has spent a lifetime serving others and continues to do so with humility, humor, and strength despite age and physical challenges. He came here today for a minor parking violation, but what he shared with us is far more meaningful. A lesson in dedication, optimism, and purpose from a man who, at 91, remains deeply committed to his calling. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and state in the comments. Because Anthony Brasco's story reminds us that age is no barrier when you have purpose and passion. Mr. Brasco's handling of this case showed the very best qualities of the legal profession: honesty, humor, respect for the process, and composure under pressure. He could have been upset about receiving a ticket for just 1 minute. Instead, he remained gracious, self-aware, and entirely professional. Anthony stands quietly, visibly touched by the acknowledgement. At 91, Mr. Brasco continues to serve clients, file documents in this courthouse, and approach his work with dedication. That's truly inspiring. Your Honor, if I may, Anthony says gently. Of course, Mr. Brasco, Judge Caprio replies. I'd like younger people watching this to understand something, Anthony continues. I'm not special. I just found work I enjoy and was lucky enough to stay healthy enough to keep doing it. Anyone can discover that kind of purpose if they look for it. Judge Caprio nods approvingly. Wise words, Mr. Brasco, but I believe you're being modest. Not many people at 91 continue to practice law, serve clients, and stay so actively engaged in life. Your Honor, Anthony smiles. Courage is simply another word for being too stubborn to quit. The courtroom fills with laughter and applause for this remarkable 91-year-old attorney. Mr. Brasco, Judge Caprio concludes, one last question. What's your secret to staying sharp at 91? Your Honor, Anthony replies, I read constantly, and I debate with my wife every day to keep my argument skills fresh. As Anthony finishes speaking, the entire courtroom rises to its feet in a standing ovation for this remarkable man. I stay sharp by keeping my mind active, he says with a smile. Sure, I enjoy crossword puzzles and staying fresh, but what truly keeps me alert is continuing to do meaningful work. Anthony Brasco, a 91-year-old attorney with 65 years of service, walks out to applause that fills the courtroom. His story is a living reminder that age is never a barrier to purpose. He proves that humor and wisdom can beautifully coexist and that a lifelong dedication to helping others keeps both the heart and mind engaged. Judge Frank Caprio once again demonstrates that the finest courtrooms don't just deliver justice, they honor the extraordinary people who appear within them. Subscribe to Judge Stories, YT today, so you never miss inspiring moments where age, humor, and wisdom come together in perfect harmony. And the next time you think you're too old to make a difference, remember Anthony Brasco, 91 years young, still practicing law, still spreading smiles, and still showing more grace and wit than many half his age.